All right, I hit the old record button and so Josh, do we just make that our permanent intro song from now on or what?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, but that was
That was
the
a
old...
jolly whistle.
Josh, that was indeed a jolly whistle. It's almost like you knew. Speaking is hard, but you have to talk into your mic if you want people to hear you.
You want people to hear me?
Josh, okay, you see how you have this big circle here, but your mic's at the fucking bottom of it? Yeah, why don't you talk into the mic and not just the...
Well, my mic is saggy.
That's an age problem. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hidden Oaks Overdose.
Is this better?
Josh, there's like one time the whole pod you can't talk, and that was it. Do we just stop and start the whole thing over? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast. I am one of your hostesses, Garlic Johnson. Our other hostesses is Josh Mitchell. Say hi to the folks, Josh.
Hi, folks.
Thank you. See, now you can talk. Just kidding. Our segment times are going to be down in the description below. If you want to skip around and don't want to listen to the whole thing, understandable. Thank you very much, Levi Oki, for that beautiful art everyone can currently see on their phone. If you want to reach out to him, he's Levi Oki Illustration on Instagram. Josh, do you want to go ahead and just, and it's not going to be the same as last time, but you just want to go ahead and ask me about how, you know, that thing in the bullet there, the fourth bullet under intro?
Josh, ask about business. How's business?
Booming! Show me the money!
There you go. That was 2 seconds and not the full thing. Is that better?
Much better. Although I kind of miss the full thing now.
Well, we're not doing it
Good.
because we won the podcast wars, as we said last week.
Oh, yeah.
How's it going, Josh? How's life?
Are you sure that's what it says?
How way doing, bud?
There we go. Way do good. Do good me. Things happen. I do. I'm just talking like you type.
Well, Josh, I was doing your job frantically right before we started recording, so excuse me for
It's going good. I was listening to a podcast getting ready for this. Not one of ours. It was a murder one, but, you know, whatever.
That sounds like the same as ours.
Yeah.
There's dead people at the end of each of those podcasts, whether it's our listeners or the real people from that podcast.
Exactly. But otherwise, you know, I'm a little sleepy, but pretty happy. It's almost football season.
We're so close, Josh. Kickoff is next Thursday with the worst team in the NFL playing the other worst team in the NFL. It's incredible. Bottom
Vikings
two.
don't play till Sunday.
Yeah, okay, well, the Vikings are terrible.
Ouch. All right, well, we do got the Packers and the Bears next Thursday, Josh. Let me guess, you're taking the Pack?
Duh.
All right, excellent.
What? Who are you taking?
Well, Josh, I'm so glad you asked because I got the Bears in...
Stone cold lock of the century. All week.
We get to use that because we won the podcast wars. But no, it's a Bears home game, and they'll probably... I don't like either of these teams this season, so I'll take the Bears.
I think I had
just,
the Bears
just to get you.
I think I had the Bears winning as well, just because then I can't be disappointed because I predicted it right.
Odin, there's 8 other paths you could go, and you have to go directly in between my legs and the table.
Kaya's making her podcast debut.
That's definitely not her debut.
I guess.
No chance that's her debut. Get Kaya here. Say hi to the mic. Say hi. Yeah, you don't know fucking how to talk because you're dumb. All right, cool. We've already gone over the time allotted for the intro. Josh, we had our football draft on Saturday. How'd you feel about it? The event itself. Obviously, the whole point of this podcast is to grade everyone's performance with our super scientific method, but just the event itself. How'd you feel about the draft on Saturday?
I liked it, actually.
What did you like about it?
I liked the food.
Okay.
Oh.
The people. All right, you're already lying, but okay.
No, I thought it was good. I liked the setup. I liked how it looked like a drunk Jesse made the draft board itself.
Amen, brother.
It was a fun time. got me out of the house. I had to sit in sunlight, so that was a little unfortunate. But overall, I think it went well.
You were the first person to show up, Josh. There's dedication in there.
I had to start studying the atmosphere so I knew how to draft. And let me tell you what, I think it worked out.
You think so?
I got the lay of the land. I had my sunglasses so no one can read my poker face and know who I'm taking. And I won.
I mean,
podcast over.
I was to say, if you won, what are we doing here?
Hit the outro.
All right, Josh. I mean, if that's what you want, we can just go ahead and hit the outro right now.
All right, so I'm gonna go make dinner. Have a nice night.
I hate you. But so yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. As was expected. So I scheduled it for 4. Figured we'd start around 5. We actually started drafting like 4:15. Of course, Nate, the number 1 pick, wasn't there. Your wife, the number 4 pick, wasn't there. But we got through it. Newcomer Robin, kind of as is.
Am I allowed to do live updates?
I mean, if they're relevant to what we're talking about this second, otherwise you can just cover them.
It's about the draft.
As we talk about those teams. Sure.
No, I'll wait.
Okay, well, I was going to say, those all look team specific. But so yeah, we're running over again, but I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. I'm glad it was a good time. So we just want to spend maybe 90 seconds here talking about kind of how we're going to go through this, our scientific method, if you will. So obviously, first and foremost, anywhere on the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast, we're going to have truthiness, aka not thinking with your brain, thinking with your gut, okay? This is my intuition, and Josh doesn't want to admit it, but he's been coming around to truthiness, mainly because it's the lazy man's method of doing things instead of science with numbers and facts and bullshit. So whether he wants to admit it or not, we're both bringing you some truthiness. I put in all the teams into Fantasy Guys last night, and they told us some things about our teams. Didn't give us grades, which why the hell do you have a rate my team thing that doesn't actually give me a number? I need to know numerically how good I am compared to others.
Well, it's because you did individual league. You didn't do like or individual team, not individual leagues. Like, I can't rank you and compare it to your teammates or your league mates.
I mean, they can just rate my team and have a number and be like, here's your number. The other 2 sites gave me a number.
I can give you an arbitrary number if you want.
Let me guess, 0?
Well, no, your team 3.
Out of?
5.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, Nikita got a 7 out of 9.
Okay.
All the numbers just don't make sense.
Gotcha. So we did that. We also did Fantasy SP. I honestly don't remember what that is, but I found it on like a Sports Illustrated site, and the link took me there, and the rating system was not good. They didn't even recognize Justin Tucker as a person. And then also Roto Trade. I put all the teams into there, which gave us a numerical grade. And it also had a GIF description of every team, Josh. I don't know if you would click on any of the links from Roto Trade, but every team had a GIF that described the team.
I did not.
Well, I guess you missed that little gem then. But I mean, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to get out the old timer here, and we're going to keep it to 2 minutes a team. I think that's good. If after the first team, I put it up to 2:30. So we're going to spend 2 minutes and 30 seconds on each team, just kind of going through them. What do you reckon? We just go in draft order? Just start at 8 and move to the right.
Just draft order.
All right, Josh, do you have anything else you want to say before I start the timer?
Nope.
All right.
Well, hang on. No, I'm just kidding. I don't.
Okay. Ooh, it does the first.
Wait, who's going first? You or me? You can go first.
I mean, we can go together, but first overall pick was Nathan Nielsen, and he took Saquon Barkley. I really like Saquon this year. We are a full PPR league. I think if I had the first overall pick, I might have gone CMC just to be different, just because I think he catches significantly more passes than Saquon can. Saquon is the Giants' offense, but if that's the only thing, he could be stopped. He also took Ertz. He took Joe Mixon. He took Tyler Boyd, Kenyon Drake. I mean, Ertz at, pick 28? That's not bad, Josh. I mean, do you have any other thoughts on kind of like the top 5 picks here?
No, I liked his top 5. We did get a text from Walters that is a live update, but he said that the wide receivers, if Tyler Boyd is your number 1, ouch. I actually like Tyler Boyd. I think he had a great season last year. I think he's going to do well this year. Dante Pettis is on the up and up. Corey Davis, meh. Anthony Miller's decent. Devin Funchess, we'll see how he does in a new atmosphere. Overall, I mean, I like his team. Joe Mixon, Saquon as starting running backs. Kenyon Drake as a possible flex. Yeah, I mean, his team's all right.
Yeah, so I mean, if my mouse will ever fucking show up here, there it is. If we just go to, so I mean, you did the starting lineup post draft. So his lineup looks like this: QB Lamar Jackson, running back Saquon Barkley and Joe Mixon, wide receivers Tyler Boyd and Corey Davis, tight end Zach Ertz, flex Kenyon Drake, defense Cleveland, and kicker Jason Myers. Is that a playoff team?
No. Yes. Maybe.
You're doing real good at this whole draft analysis piece right now, Josh.
We're going to go with yes.
All right. I don't know. I mean, you should be on Yahoo for some various leagues. I don't know if you got it today, but I got a Yahoo notification just on my way here, and it said, bold prediction, Lamar Jackson will surpass Patrick Mahomes as QB1 in fantasy this year.
That is very bold.
And probably ridiculous.
I didn't hear that Patrick Mahomes retired this year.
All right. So anyways, if we're looking at the scores in this SP fantasy or whatever, Nate got a 199 rating, which is just they had player ratings and they added them up. And then in Roto Trade, he got a 91, which was first overall, and his SP grade was second overall. So, I mean, Nate looks like he's going to have a good team. He's pretty much riding Saquon everywhere. And that concludes Nate. So, Josh, start up with Hammer.
We got Andrew, and I suppose I should go to the draft to find out his the second overall pick, Alvin Kamara. He's okay. He's pretty good. He does things with the football. In the second round, pick 7, he took Amari Cooper, who I dared you to take in the first round at pick 8, but you didn't. So
I was pick 7. You were pick 8.
Oh, whatever. And then you got Brandon Cooks, O.J. Howard, Jarvis Landry, Rashad Penny, Duke Johnson. That kind of rounds off his top 6 picks. As far as the post-draft starting rosters, Cam Newton at quarterback, Alvin Kamara, Rashad Penny, Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, O.J. Howard, Jarvis Landry, Baltimore, and Will Lutz, with Duke Johnson as his 6th man off the bench. I mean, overall, I like his team. I think that's a playoff team there, especially with the Lamar Miller injury and Duke Johnson taking a little bit more of a workload because of it. I think his wide receivers are going to be solid. I think his running backs are going to be solid. Cam Newton's usually pretty good at fantasy, depending on how this injury treats up. And then, I mean, who cares about defensive kickers?
Oh, yeah.
Just eating the table. Give her a break.
She was eating the metal chair. Well, whatever. Anyways, yeah, I mean, for me, this could obviously change. I personally would probably have Duke Johnson in the flex versus Jarvis, but, Hammer can set his lineup how he likes. I don't like Brandon Cooks. I can't remember what his production was last year. He's a Ram, right? First of all, before I check myself.
Yep.
How do you feel about Brandon Cooks, Josh?
On the fence. Boomer bust.
How's that cock in your mouth?
It's ice.
Sure it
and
is,
by
buddy.
boomer bust, I mean, I don't think he's going to get the production of like a slot receiver like Cooper Kupp or Julian Edelman, but I do think that he has the potential for the deep ball touchdown plays. They're going to try and stretch the field if Todd Gurley doesn't play very much, so I think that he has an opportunity to catch, a 40, 50-yard pass every so often.
So touchdown dependent, I think that's a fair analysis. I will mention I like Deshaun Jackson on his bench. We have 20 seconds left. Looking at this lineup, I think it's okay. I don't know that it's going to win you the championship. He was ranked number 1 overall in the Fantasy SP. He was 2nd overall according to Roto Trade with a score of 90.
You spelled comparison wrong.
Good. What are you going to do about it?
You're up with Jamie.
All right. So moving on to Grade and Jamie. So my favorite guy in the first couple picks here is she got Christian McCaffrey, okay? I really like CMC. Her next pick all the way down at, pick 26? Devonta Freeman. I do not like Devonta Freeman. I could not, say that enough. But even if I did like Devonta Freeman, I would have taken Ito Smith in like the 6th round, which I don't know where Ito Smith went. It looks like he went in round 7 or 8 over to Brad, but Devonta Freeman just never stays healthy. So I hate that. Jamie did pick up Patrick Mahomes in the 3rd, which that would have been pick 30. To me, that's almost a little too early, but in a 14-man league, if you really want your stud quarterback, go for it. She went straight receivers for the next 3 picks. She got Julian Edelman, plenty of production on PPR, I think. DJ Moore. I don't know. We haven't had a good, in my opinion, Panthers receiver since Kelvin Benjamin, and that's saying something. I know. That's a scary thought. So it's been a while, unless you're Greg Olsen.
Devin Funchess had few good games to close out a year, but it wasn't a full season of production.
Right. I'm looking for a season. And then Sterling Shepard, plenty of opportunity, but we will see. Eric Ebron, if he is anywhere close to where he was last year, that's a solid starting tight end in the 7th. She got the Rams defense in the 8th. Naeem Himes, we'll see. Justin Tucker at kicker, not bad. Delaney Walker, he's 90. Derek Carr's the backup, even though she tried to take Terod Rivers, who is not a real player. Giovanni Bernard, and then St. Brown.
Equinemius, give him some respect.
So the starting lineup of Patrick Mahomes and Christian McCaffrey, that sounds sexy as hell right there. Devonta Freeman, I guess if he's healthy, should be pretty good. Julian Edelman, DJ Moore, Eric Ebron I like, Sterling Shepard in the flex, and then the Rams and Justin Tucker. I think that's a playoff team to me. I know I took up pretty much the whole time. You got 20 seconds if you want to say anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I think that this is a potential playoff team depending on Devonta Freeman's healthy, and then whether or not DJ Moore or Sterling Shepard can step up for that wide receiver 2 spot, since Julian Edelman's likely to be locked in. I don't like Eric Ebron at tight end with the Luck retirement. I'm going to read this little tidbit of information here. This is from Jack Doyle on Fantasy or on ESPN, but it says, fellow tight end Eric Ebron stole headlines last season, but Doyle, not Ebron, was and still is the Colts' #1 tight end. Doyle missed 10 games due to a pair of injuries, but during the 6 games, both he and Ebron were active. Doyle ran 151 routes and was targeted 33 times compared to 101 routes and 22 targets for Ebron. Doyle posted... he was number 6 tight end during those 6 weeks that he played. Doyle ranked top 5 in catch rate over the past 5 seasons, though he does nearly all of his damage in the short area. Doyle caught 80 passes in 15 games with Jacoby Brissett under center in 2017, so it's fair to expect that the connection to pick up where it left off in 2019. Consider Doyle a tight end 1 in PPR and more of a tight end 2 in non-PPR. And there was another tidbit of information that came out, and your buzzer is probably paused because the phone is paused. It's not going down any lower.
Correct. I paused it because you were at 5 seconds when you started reading that, and we're like a minute past that already. So I was just going to let you finish out of politeness.
But Eric Ebron had the touchdowns, but he actually had less targets in the end zone. So I think people just expected him to drop it like he did when he was in Detroit. Moving on.
Why would you throw to someone in the end zone if you expect them to drop it?
Because nobody's buying him.
All right. Well, next. Oh, I did that one. So you're Nikita.
Yeah. No, Nikita. I actually like her team. I think that Nikita's team is a playoff team.
Mm-hmm. Has nothing to do with the fact that you sleep with it, right?
Her first picks: David Johnson, Travis Kelce, Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley, Lamar Miller. But that was before the injury, so we'll give her a break there. Carson Wentz, Latavius Murray, James Washington, and then she picked up Kalen Ballage, who has a possibility of seeing an even timeshare, even the starting back role in, where are they? Miami. That's right. James Washington, I think, is going to have a decent year despite only doing preseason things. But Calvin Ridley, Keenan Allen as top wide receivers, or as her top wide receivers, that's not bad. Travis Kelce, that's not bad. David Johnson, that's not bad. Carson Wentz, that's not bad. So I think that she has a decent team, and I do think that she has a chance to make the playoffs even with the 5th-round pick of Lamar Miller.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the lineup, Wentz needs to stay healthy. Otherwise, he's always going to be Andy Dalton 2.0 to me. So he has a great chance, because in his rookie year, I took him and I was floored. I was like, this guy's great, awesome, and then he went down. So David Johnson, I'm really high on him this year. Kalen Ballage, we'll see. Definitely plenty of opportunity, high ceiling, but a low floor, I think. So it's boom or bust there. Keenan Allen, obviously, I have a hard on for. Calvin Ridley, I just don't like him. There's no reason I don't, but I took him in another league, so maybe my tune will change this year after I see it firsthand. Travis Kelce, obviously a stud. Latavius Murray in the flex. Kind of a weak flex to me. Again, it's a 14-man league, but that's the way she goes. Bills defense, brutal, and Ryan Suckup in the kicker. Not bad. I mean, I do like the depth on her bench. I mean, Chase Edmonds, just in case. She's handcuffing there. Jimmy Graham, I don't like at all. No offense to Jimmy Graham. Dak Prescott, And I do like your comments on James Washington. As far as Lamar Miller, I'm surprised she hasn't replaced him yet.
Yeah, no, she probably has, or she probably will. This isn't, it's the draft page and then the post-draft starting rosters. I didn't do any of the any of the free agents transactions that we had.
I mean, you did because you did Jameis Winston and Greg Olson. Yep, and the Seahawks for T.
Well,
That's
whatever.
3 transactions.
Josh can't speak. Your turn with Brian.
Let's just say Brian had a case of bad luck. That joke's already been overused. But, so, Brian, here, let me just go to the draft page real prick. All right. So Brian, first overall, took DeAndre Hopkins, first wide receiver off the board. Not bad. I like it. Got Antonio Brown all the way in the second. I know, anyone who has sleeper likes us get those updates all day, every day. They're probably not high on Antonio Brown, but had I not gone running back in my second round, I probably would have taken Brown because I like him this year, and then T.Y. Hilton. So who knows who's going to be throwing the ball to T.Y. But I think he has a really great group of receivers there. That said, he didn't take his first running back until round 7. And that's Matt Breida. His second running back, taken in round 8, is Tony Pollard, a backup who might be playing. Who knows? Alexander Madison, I actually really like that pick. The fact that Alexander Madison was still there is kind of shocking to me. And then Jalen Samuels. So he went on a run of 4 QBs in a row, but only one of them is a kind of starter. Evan Ingram as the tight end, Deshaun Watson and Andrew Luck back to back. I like that. I feel like I've been talking a lot, so I'm just kind of shut up there. But I really like Deshaun Watson. I was going to take him that round had Brian not.
Yeah, no, I was waiting on Andrew Luck, so thank you, Brian. I was actually going to take Andrew Luck with that pick, and then he took him. No, I was going to take Andrew Luck in the next round, but then he took him, so you got him off my plate. But yeah, no, I mean, his team, you could tell that this is a team that he took the whole PPR thing a little bit too serious, and he focused on the wide receivers, the pass catchers. So, I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, Antonio Brown, and T.Y. Hilton in a PPR league, a 14-person PPR league, you'd before the Luck retirement thing, you'd be ruxing it all over the place for those wide receivers. And then you look at the running backs, and you kind of turtle shell there. Your body, you're
not turtle enough for the Turtle Club,
right? But overall, first time drafting for PPR, he walked in with a magazine from 2004. I don't know. I guess he didn't know what to expect. The back-to-back quarterbacks got ripped by Walters, but what does Walters know? He has more second-place finishes than he does fantasy seasons. So, it's my turn with Brad.
Very good.
Brad took Michael Thomas. I was actually thinking, okay, Brad's going to take Zeke or Le'Veon or somebody. And so when you took Michael Thomas, I was actually like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Brad came to play.
Yeah, Brad took a note out of Josh's book and realized Michael Thomas is on championship roster last year. Good for him. Then he took Leonard Fournette, who I'm not as high on this year. Then Chris Carson, who I feel in the third is a bit early, even in a 14-man league, especially when there's guys like Kerryon, Damian Williams, and Aaron Jones available. Then he took Sammy Watkins in the fourth, who knows? This is his second year in KC? Yep. So he should have some rapport with that Mahomes kid. Jared Cook at tight end, even though he's 475,000 years old, he's probably he's still one of the top 5 in the league, I'd say. Drew Brees at QB, so he's got that Brees to Thomas connection. And then Will Fuller for his flex spot. That's not a bad draft. He also got Ito Smith, Kareem Hunt as well, which I think was actually a pretty solid pickup in the late rounds, just in case Chubb gets hurt, which let's hope he doesn't. And then, overall, I think Brad actually has a decent playoff team. I kind of threw up a little there.
I like Breeze as the quarterback. I think Breeze in 6 is probably a little too early for my flavor, but I like it. I like Chris Carson at 3. I think he's going to have more production. Like, Pete Carroll loves his workhorses, so he's much less of a committee guy. So that's why I like Chris Carson in the 3rd. Sammy Watkins, I agree with you. Meh. Will Fuller, though, if he can return to form, that'd be great. Minnesota defense in the 9th. You're really going homer there. I hate Big Ben. Kareem Hunt, obviously, the first time he could play is week 9, but, could be good. Rex Burkhead, Ted Ginn, go fuck yourself. His starting lineup, just looking at it, I hate Leonard Fournette as well. So, overall, Bradley seems like a
fringe team.
5-7 team.
I think it's a fringe playoff. I think it really depends on Sammy Watkins and Mahomes, like how they connect.
Sure.
And then, he can win games alone based on Drew Brees and Michael Thomas. I did last year. There were many games where they put up 20, 30 points each, and that won me the game. So it all depends on that. And then Leonard Fournette's kind of that wild card as well, where it depends. I'm going to take yours because...
my team brought to you by Arnold Palmer. Go ahead.
I'm going to take your team because then you can take mine because we drafted next to each other. You took Zeke with your first pick. I will say it's ballsy just because we don't know about his contract situation. I do feel like he's closer to a contract than Melvin Gordon is. So there's that. Josh Jacobs, when you took Josh, and actually when you took Zeke, I thought you were going to take Devonta Adams. I had it typed up in my computer figuring you're going to take Devonta Adams and I'm going to be stuck with some bum like Julio Jones.
Some bum.
Yep. But you took Zeke and then you took Josh Jacobs, which was another one where I was like, holy cow, because I thought you were going to take someone else. I don't hate that pick. I just think, okay, he's a rookie and he's not necessarily like the Christian McCaffrey, who's the guy from last year? Saquon Barkley. He's not that kind of talent coming out from what I've understood. But then George Kittle in the third, you took him right before I was going to take him. So F you there.
Excellent.
I like the Godwin pick. I like the Williams and I like the Kirk pick. So I think that your top 5 picks were solid. Not so high on LaShawn McCoy. Not so high on Peyton Barber. Fitz, I think you just took him because he was still available that late.
Right. I mean, this is not a dynasty league. It's a redraft.
Right.
Fitz is playing this year.
So
PPR.
and I think you took Fitz and I took Sutton and I was going to take Fitz if you didn't take him. I don't like Rojo. Jimmy G as your quarterback is probably the weakest spot on this roster, and that is, and you have the Detroit defense. So yeah, it's still the weakest spot. I don't like Jimmy G.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you've made it very clear you don't like Jimmy G. So Zeke, just so I don't have enough time to go over it here, but long story short, Le'Veon Bell could hold out all of last year because he was technically not under contract. He never signed his tender. Melvin Gordon and Zeke this year, if they want their year to count on this contract, they have to show up by week 10. Otherwise, they gained no ground this year. So worst case Ontario, I've got a stud running back starting, in playoff season. Maybe, I didn't get enough wins to even be close, but that's the case. So I like Zeke there. I was upset I didn't get his backup Tony, but here nor there. First round running backs are notoriously top 10 fantasy picks or top 10 fantasy finishes, so that's why I took Jacobs. I like Kittle, even though I hate the tight end position. I really wanted Cooper Kupp, but you took him, so I had to take Godwin instead. Mike Williams I thought was a steal. Christian Kirk's not bad. LaShawn McCoy I agree on. We'll see. I really hope I'm a playoff team, but who knows? And I'm hoping Jimmy G does great. Okay, Team 8, the infamous Juice is now up. So Josh, thinking I was going to take Devonta Adams for whatever reason, I didn't. I was surprised Zeke fell to me at 7, so I took Zeke, and then Josh took Devonta Adams in the first round, pick 8, which I think is not bad. Devonta Adams is, I know you're really high on him. He's a really good receiver. Nick Chubb in the second, I think is solid. He's like I don't know that he has a lot of competition for carries in Cleveland, especially with Duke Johnson gone now. Kerryon Johnson the third, I think, is pretty solid. I like your starting, duo there. Cooper Kupp, again, like I just said, I wanted him on my team. Sony Michel, I don't like Sony Michel, not because he's bad, but just because it's a Patriots running back, because who knows. Although James White got a lot more production than people thought he would last year. Maybe it's because I think Michel was injured at some point. Miles Sanders, I like that pick. D.D. Westbrook, we will see. I'm shocked you didn't take Keelan Cole instead.
Who?
Daryl Henderson, Gurley's backup, could see plenty of time. Cortland Sutton, I really like Cortland Sutton. I really kind of ignore Emmanuel Sanders and kind of give the number 1 wide receiver spot in Denver to Cortland Sutton, whether it's right or not. Phillip Rivers is a starting QB. Gotta love him. Mark Andrews and Jack Doyle. To me, your tight ends are my least favorite part of your team, but maybe just because I don't believe in Baltimore throwing the ball or Jack Doyle staying healthy. And then the Green Bay defense, I'm not a fan of. But you know what? You get to live your dream. So overall, I think this could be a team in the playoffs, but I think, I don't know. It kind of depends on. Honestly think the tight end might be the make or break for you. Not to pun intended on the league vote and all that, but
yeah, no, and like I mentioned, you took George Kittle pick before I was going to take him, and then I waited on and I was going to try and get Eric Ebron. That didn't work out. I was going to try and get Hunter Henry. That didn't work out. And so I just, waited, and then Mark Andrews fell, and he had solid production at the end of last year. He's a second-year tight end. He and Lamar Jackson had some chemistry, it seemed like, at the end of the season, according to what I had read. But I agree, tight end, definitely the weak spot. I'm also not too high on Philip Rivers, and I just took Green Bay to be funny. So
okay.
It's not like I'm going to start him week 1. Yeah, I mean, I was overall, I was happy. I did something different. I actually didn't even use the top 200 or the top positions. I did tiers. And so I did tier-based drafting this year just to give it a shot. And I'm pretty happy with the outcome so far.
No, okay.
Yeah, Jesse. Jesse has a good team. What do you have to say? No, I like
just
Jesse.
because he has Aaron Rodgers?
No. It was I do like his overall team. I think that Julio Jones, Stephon Diggs, first 2 picks at wideout, he's set there. Unless Stephon Diggs gets a case of the Stephon Diggs and gets hurt. Damian Williams, Mark Ingram, solid running backs there. Deion Lewis, that's not a bad running back to have either, just because Derrick Henry is really kind of up and down. Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, I feel like he took him too early, but at that time there was also 3 quarterbacks off the board, I believe. So he took him because he wanted them. Allen Robinson in the flex, I think that'll be a little bit better than it was last year. David Njoku at tight end. We'll see how Baker throws it to the tight end. I don't think he had much production. I don't think it'll be that good. But he also has Kyle Rudolph, who's a touchdown machine. Got him a little bit later. I do like his Devin Singletary pick at running back. He's the backup in Buffalo.
Likely going to replace McCoy at some point.
Yep. And so and he actually turned to me and goes, I don't know anybody available. Who should I take? And I was like, take Devin Singletary. So, and that's only because I had like 5 running backs at the time. So, I was going to take another one, but, I like him, and I think that he's going to take a big role in this season. Kaya says your team sucks, Jesse.
Yeah, I mean, so Julio Jones in the first round at pick 9, that's not bad. Stephon Diggs, to me, I don't know. Stephon Diggs has been a good receiver. Like, he capped 1,000 yards last year, and he did something else. I don't know, but I don't know. Stephon Diggs, that's too early for me personally. I want to take him. Damian Williams, who he was great last year, but everyone's saying this year's not going to be the same. So I guess I personally don't understand that. But if these guys are smarter than me, then go for it. I don't like Mark Ingram that early because isn't Gus Edwards like the guy, or is Mark Ingram the guy, or is it a committee?
At this time, I think it's a committee.
Right. So then that'd be too early for me. Aaron Rodgers, I've said it many, many times on this pod. I think he's on the decline, so definitely won't take him. Overall, how Jesse ever won this league is a miracle to me, but I do not see Jesse in the playoff space on this roster. And
I think that it depends on the Mark Ingram pick, actually, because I think Damian's going to have a decent season because they do pass the ball to their running backs a lot, but I think Mark Ingram's make and break that roster.
Right. All right, so moving on to Mr. Wilbert. All right, we got Le'Veon Bell in the first, so that's pick 10. I'm okay with Bell at 10. He took a year off. The dude's 27 this year, so that's not bad. He was a top 5 running back when he played, so if he can, return and be in the same kind of form, with the Jets certainly do not have the O-line that the Steelers had. So we'll see kind of how that affects his play. But that's not bad. He took Dalvin Cook in the second, which I think is a great pick. Of course, the dig against Dalvin Cook is that the man cannot stay healthy. Aaron Jones in the third, I think, is not bad either. Kenny Golladay, I really liked him last year. Josh Gordon, I do not like. That's in the fifth, but I mean, he could be great. Who knows? Tevin Coleman, I think stealing, the starting running back with of the 49ers with dwindling competition every day in the sixth. I think that's pretty impressive. I think I was going to take him that round if I had the chance. Russell Wilson to the starting QB. Meh. Curtis Samuel, definitely plenty of potential there. Austin Hooper at the tight end position, potential there. New England defense, who knows? DK Metcalf, meh. Frank Gore. Buffalo has 3 good running backs, so I don't know what they want to do there. Adam Humphries, meh, and then Badgley at the kicker. So I mean, overall, I think a pretty good starting roster. As a healthy team, this is certainly a playoff team. If anything, he should trade one of those running backs, assuming all the 4 good ones stay healthy, and maybe try and get yourself another receiver. But I mean, this team definitely could be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I do like his first 3 picks. You know how I feel about Dalvin Cook and Aaron Jones, and our listener does too. Not too high on Cook, high on Jones. So if anything, I would have flip-flopped those picks, but Dalvin Cook in Minnesota would never have lasted that long. And so I was surprised when Aaron Jones fell that far. I only took Kerryon over Jones because I didn't want to have Devonta and Aaron because they're on the same team. I like the Kenny Golladay pick, the Josh Gordon pick. Everybody knows how much I love Josh Gordon. That was too early for me.
Whoa.
Yeah. Even though I was going to take him that round if he fell to me. But no, I just don't know because he reinstated, but we don't know. He could still get suspended from what I understand. But I don't know a lot of things.
It's certainly a question mark.
Austin Hooper was a tight end that I was looking for in the middle, late rounds. I hate DK Metcalf, but I think Adam Humphries was the steal of the draft.
Really?
Yep. Oh, it's my turn with
This is
Garrett.
the part where you go. Yeah.
Garrett took James Conner, who, despite having a great season last year and is a good running back overall, losing Big Ben, or not losing Big Ben should retire, but losing Antonio Brown, losing, a few other pieces on offense that I don't know because they probably didn't, just Antonio Brown.
That sounds made up. Yeah.
I just don't, I'm not as high on Connor as most people are this year. Mike Evans, gross. He's a solid wide receiver with Ryan Fitzpatrick, but Fitzpatrick isn't there anymore. Marlon Mack, I think, was a solid pick until Luck retired because now they're going to stack boxes. I love the Robert Woods pick. Love Hunter Henry. Loved Baker Mayfield. Roby Anderson, not so much. Marvin Jones, I like. MVS, I like. Marquise Valdez-Scantling. And then I told you to take Chad Beebe, whatever, in the last round for your homer pick because I think he's going to be wide receiver 3 in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what he's been like. That's what he's been on the depth chart all offseason. So I think that's a fair take on the Beebs there. I agree with you on the Connor. I mean, there's no reason he can't succeed at the same level. Again, I think they only lost Antonio Brown, and Vance McDonald's good. They gained Dante Moncrief. Juju Smith-Schuster was really good last year. James Conner, to me, has the exact same opportunity he had last year. What he does with it, who knows? But I think he could be fine. What is that, pick 11? Might be a little too early for me for James Conner, but if you want a running back on your team as a 14-man league, you got to take what you can get. So could have taken Todd Gurley. I probably would have taken Todd Gurley there, but whatever. I spent too much time talking about Conner. Mike Evans, I like. In an Arians offense, Marlon Mack, I agree. With Luck gone, who knows? Robert Woods. I never liked Woods. I personally would much rather have Cooper Kupp on my team over Woods, but maybe it's just because I'm, racist. Hunter Henry, I don't think is going to be the sensation everyone thinks he is, but he should be serviceable at least. Baker, maybe Baker in the 6th is too early for me, but he could be a stud. I really like Roby personally. Marvin Jones, meh. The Chargers defense, meh. Overall, just make sure I understand this team. Overall, this could be this is certainly a fringe playoff team for me. We have 8 playoff teams, so maybe he's 7 or 8 in that scenario, but yeah, I don't know. I don't like your bench. Moving on to Derek. All right, so Derek, in the first round, you took Tyreek Hill, which is a pretty good pick in the first round. Odell Beckham in the second. Honestly, I didn't even realize Odell Beckham was still available in the second. I'm not sure why he would have fallen to pick. What is that, 17?
17.
Yeah, well, whatever. People don't like him in Cleveland, I guess. David Montgomery, I don't like David Montgomery only because of Tyreek Cohen. I understand they're not going to fill the same role, so it's not like they'll necessarily be competing with each other, but still. Jordan Howard was nothing significantly special last year, so if David Montgomery is coming there to replace him, David Montgomery will not be a top 10 running back. Philip Lindsay I actually really like. He was a workhorse last year, and Royce doesn't seem like he has what it takes. Speaking of Tyreek Cohen, he's on this roster as well. Derek was able to get him in the 5th, which I think is a steal in a PPR league. He took A.J. Green in the 6th, which I think is a fine slide there. Kiki Kuti, I hate. Trey Burton, I was high on him last year, but he kind of let me down. Jacksonville defense, I mean, if you think so, Greg Zuerlein's Derek's kickers every year. Tom Brady is the starting quarterback, which is pretty incredible, all the way down in round 11. And then, T.J. Hawkinson is kind of just rolling the dice.
Yeah, I mean, I like his wide receivers, Tyreek Hill, Odell Beckham. Solid. I mean, if I was in his spot and those guys fell to me, I would have taken the same things. I don't like David Montgomery as well for the same reasons as you, but also just because if you look at the division and the run-stopping ability in the division, it's a tough, that's 6 games where it's going to be tough to run. Plus, they got Mitch Trubisky, who, can barely throw competent pass. So, I mean, he has a hard time throwing the ball, let alone handing it off. So, Philip Lindsay, you're high on. It was a great story, undrafted, went in, took over the starting role. He did great last year, but I think with a year of tape, Joe Flacco under center, he's just Eli Manning with a beard. And then
that might be an insult to Eli Manning.
You're right. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, he has potential to have a really solid season at the fourth round in a 14-person league. I think it's a good pick. But Tariq Cohen, I mean, he only has 3 running backs: David Montgomery, Philip Lindsay, and Tariq Cohen, and 2 of them are on the same team. So I don't know what he's planning there. I'm not high on Kiki Kuti either, just because there's a lot of mouths to feed in that on that team, and Trey Burton sucks. Robin. Do I have to?
Yes, you do.
She took Todd Gurley, whom I love. So great first pick. Juju Smith-Schuster, great second pick. Derrick Henry, decent fourth-round pick, just based on how he finished. Darius Geis, I think, has this possibility from the fifth-round pick of breaking out. You may be wondering why I skipped the third round. That's because she took Matt Ryan with the first quarterback off the board. Yep, those are crickets you hear. Alshon Jeffrey.
It was the second quarterback off the board, but...
Well, oh, yeah, I suppose Mahomes.
Yep.
Alshon Jeffrey, Vance McDonald, Bears defense, Jordan Howard, Geronimo Allison, Harrison Buttkicker, Darwin Thompson, Andy Isabella, and Noah Fant. I think for a starting roster, this is actually a solid starting roster. But that first bench spot to that last bench spot are going to score between 0 and 1 point every week.
You think Jordan Howard, Geronimo Allison, Darwin Thompson, Andy Isabella, and Noah Fant are going to score 0 points collectively?
Yep.
You're a lunatic. There's no way.
Well, each.
Okay.
Because Geronimo Allison's going to get hurt because he's a Packer, and that's just what happens to Packers fans. Darwin Thompson is fine.
He's the number 2 in KC. That's what everyone's saying.
Yep. No, and I just saw that today too. And Andy Isabella is decent. I don't know. She has a lot of boomer busts on the bench, I feel, just with the rookies there. 3 rookies with their last 3 picks. Geronimo Allison coming off an injury. And then Jordan Howard is in a running back by committee with 3 other guys. Josh Adams, Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard.
I think so, yeah.
So, and then Darren Sproles is there too.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do like the starting lineup. Certainly, to me, the question mark is Derrick Henry and how they can utilize him. Juju and Alshon, I think, are studs. I really have no idea why Alshon slid so far in our draft. Like, no one picked him. Like, 50, he got taken probably 50 picks lower than he should have. So I don't know why he slid so far. Vance McDonald has a great chance to be very successful. The juice and the flex, I think, has a good shot to be something. Matt Ryan in the third certainly would have been too early for me, but at the end of the day, I do also agree with drafting the team you want, and if she really wanted Matt Ryan at quarterback, why not? I agree with your starting lineup. The starting lineup staying healthy, that's a playoff team, so we'll just have to wait and see. Mr. Let me Skype into the draft himself. So yeah, do we have to grade T's team? Is that
we do, but it doesn't have to last very long. You're bad. All right, so moving on.
We finished that 25 seconds off the clock. All right, so Melvin Gordon the first. Could be a good pick, could be a bad pick. We'll see if he plays, Melvin Gordon, I think, is a top 5 running back if he's there. So at pick 14, that could be amazing. Adam Thielen right there at pick 15 might be a touch too early for my taste. I think he has plenty of PPR potential. I know if Adam Thielen was there for my second round, I would have taken him in a heartbeat. But as you alluded to earlier, this is a Minnesota league, so he never would have lasted that long with all these fucking homers around. But I would have loved to have Adam Thielen on my team. James White in the third. I don't think he's going to repeat the same thing he did last year, so maybe, I wouldn't have done that. Tyler Lockett I really like, though. So, I think his first 4 picks are, 2 rolling the dice and 2. His wide receivers are solid and his running backs are question marks for me. Emmanuel Sanders, I talked about earlier, I don't like. Hedging your bet with Austin Eckler for Melvin Gordon, I think is a smart move because Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon's absence last year was great. Tyrell, who knows what he's going to do in that Oakland offense. Golden Tate is hurt or suspended, I think.
Suspended.
I don't know. AD had 1,000 rushing yards last year, so I mean,
that was a good pick. I think that AD that deep is actually not a bad pick.
We'll see how he competes with Juice in that Redskins offense, but Case Keenum's there, so maybe Adrian Peterson finally learned how to touch the ball as well. Starting quarterback of Jared Goff all the way down in the 10th, I think that's a good steal. Jordan Reed is certainly a question mark at starting tight end.
He went into concussion protocol after the draft too.
I saw that, yeah. But I mean, still. So I mean, If it wasn't for James White, I would think this is a playoff team. So we'll see kind of how your running backs work out, but fringe playoff team for me. Maybe a 7 or 8 situation.
I think with guys like Philip Lindsay on the board, Cooper Kupp, Chris Godwin even, Kelvin Ridley, I think all of those guys should have been taken before James White. I agree with what you say about running backs in New England. So, yeah, that's why.
All right, calm down, timer. Jesus. That was it. I know in kind of the first 2 or 3 teams we mentioned the different grades from the various sites, and then we just kind of stopped that. But how convenient that I set up its own segment just for us to go over the ratings leaderboard here. So again, I used a couple different sources. We have the SP, Fantasy SP, whatever the hell that is. We used Roto Trade, and then I kind of did a thing where I combined them. So in the Fantasy SP, Andrew had the best team with a score of 200, which is just an arbitrary score, but that meant his players kind of rated the highest. Nate was second, T was third, Derek was fourth, Jesse fifth, me sixth, Brian seventh, Josh eighth, Brad 9th, Garrett 10th, Robin 11th, Nikita 12th, Jamie 13th, and Willie 14th. Kind of interesting to me that the 3 women are kind of all in a row there. I don't know, that's just kind of a weird coincidence.
Racist.
If it could have been perfect having all 4 women there, but Garrett had to be in between Brad and Robin, so how she goes.
I get it.
With the Roto scores, we had Nate first overall, and then Andrew second, Brad third, Robin fourth, Jamie fifth, Josh sixth, Garrett seventh, Brian eighth, Jesse 9th, Nikita 10th, Willie 11th, Gar, aka me 12th, Derek 13th, and T 14th. So a big swing and a couple people there. And then since I've been going, I'll just do the combined as well. So I took the SP scores, which were all in the high 100s, low 200s, and I just divided it in half because why not? It makes the numbers weighted similarly, and then just combined both the Roto score and the SP score. So in the combined score leaderboard, we had Nate first and Andrew second, which was similar to the boards beforehand. Brad third, T fourth, Josh fifth, Jesse sixth, Brian 7th, Derek 8th, Robin 9th, Garrett 10th, Garlic 11th, Jamie 12th, Nikita 13th, and Willie 14th. And I think there's actually something on ESPN that you can just look up the projected finish, and I'll do that now while Josh talks about stuff. I don't know if you have stuff to talk about, Josh.
Yeah, I can try and provide some filler. I don't like these scores. I feel like they are catered to those who draft best player available, which is why you see a lot of these scores like Andrew, Nate. I mean, Nate took I'm not knocking these teams because here's our little disclaimer. You don't know until the games are actually played how a player's going to do. But just based on, previous years and things like that, I just feel like, some of the players, some of these teams are not necessarily scored correctly. Like yours and mine. I don't know how Brian finished ahead of me when Tony Pollard is one of his starting running backs. But so it's just, it's curious to see. And then I did like how you took all that information down, did all that. So thank you. Fantasy guys, you said you didn't like them because they didn't give you a number. I didn't mind their take, even though half of the stuff was kind of already pre-typed in, and you could tell it was just kind of cut and paste into each team based on who the picks are, because it's auto-generated.
Yeah.
But they had that little percentage of teams' chances to make the playoffs. The only person I wrote in was T's because they had a 15% chance to make the playoffs, and I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, so I appreciate that filler. So I did pull it up. This thing is confusing as hell to read, but ESPN has a current final standings projection. It looks like a new feature this year. So again, it's confusing as hell to read, but I'm going to try and do my best. So first overall, finishing first overall, they currently have Sherlock. Is that Sherlock Mahomes? Is that Jamie?
Hopefully. That's a great name.
Okay, so it currently has Jamie ranked first. It has Nate ranked second. Third, it has Robin. Where's fourth? Okay, so fourth, it has Hammer. Fifth, it has me. Sixth, it has Nikita. Seventh, it has Jesse. Eighth, it has Willie. 9th, it has Derek. 10th, it has Brian. 11th is
Me.
running with a Chubby Johnson. 11th. 12th is Garrett. 13th is T. And 14th is Brad, who has fallen all the way from 6th from draft day. So it kind of shows.
I mean, I fell from 1st to 11th.
Yeah, I didn't want to point that out to make you feel bad, Josh. I went from 5 to 5. Dramatic movings there. So I think this is kind of cool. That might be something worth tracking throughout the season because it'll keep the draft day place in the draft day one in place, and we'll just kind of do the current as we go through the season. So that'll be cool to check in on. But yeah, so that was a lot of rankings, a lot of nonsense. Do we want to just kind of go through? I know we're kind of ad-libbing at this point. Do we want to go through and just read all of Walter's text to make sure we got every take in there?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I got all the takes in there.
You what?
Yeah, so starting off, Walters with Nate. He says back-to-back quarterbacks that's not elite, and you've got dumpster wide receivers. He's not a big fan of Tyler Boyd at number 1. He didn't say anything about Ander. For Jamie, plug and play your wide receivers every week. It's kind of a new strategy, Streaming wide receivers isn't common. Nikita, your team got the Walters stamp of approval, so enjoy last place. Brian, and by the way, that means you were in his top 3 favorite teams. Brian, 2 quarterbacks, Adur. 2 quarterbacks in back-to-back picks, and one of them retiring. He means Adur. Brad didn't say anything about it, probably because you're a girl. Gar, he said Zeke no play, no good pick. I got Walter's stamp of approval, so I'm going to enjoy a bottom 3 finish as well. Jesse, he said tractors are stupid. Willie, you got Walter's stamp of approval, so welcome to the bottom. Garrett, Derek, Robin didn't receive any feedback, so that means you guys might have had kind of middle of the road drafts. And T, ha, yo dumb.
I mean, I know you kind of mentioned it, but so Walters, his other comment, he said Team 8, which is Josh, would have had a nearly perfect draft except for his last pick. Who would want the Green Bay defense? Gross.
That means I'm going to win. Just kidding. Walters doesn't know anything. He took it. He took Le'Veon Bell last year.
It's true. Yeah. The way she goes, boys. What else do I have here on this goddamn thing? So we did the recaps, grades. Do you have anything else you want to say about the draft, Josh?
No, I mean, I did something where, Josh's super analysis. Best running backs I had. And obviously, my super analysis means I'm going to be the best in all of them. No, I'm just kidding. Best running backs I had Nate, Willie, Garlic, and I had an asterisk, a little star above yours because that's only if Zeke plays. Or is there for week 1. And then I had myself on there. I'm really high on Chubb and Johnson, hence my team name, running with a Chubby Johnson. Best wide receivers, Brian. I mean, you'd hope so.
Obviously.
Jesse and Derek. Best bench, I put myself in that because Sony Michel on the bench, D.D. Westbrook on the bench. Those are going to be... Wait, no, one of those is starting. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Head scratcher picks. I had Robin with Matt Ryan in the 3rd, T with Melvin in the 1st, and then Brian took 2 quarterbacks before he took his first running back, which was a head scratcher. Steal of the draft, I had Willie with Adam Humphries. I'm high on him this year. And then Garrett with Justin Jackson, who I think has the possibility of taking over starting role over Austin Eckler if Melvin Gordon doesn't play. League champ, I predicted Nate. League chump, T. And that's only because Nate was the first pick, first overall. T was the 14th pick, 14th overall.
Imagine that. Wow. So yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of all the comments we have. I know I don't have anything else. I just look forward to the year. I know not everyone was super high on having 14 teams. I mean, the majority was because we passed the vote. But
yeah, that's just because half our friends can't count. They thought we had 14 last year too.
Why would they vote on it then?
Because they dumb.
But I mean, so the teams, while it feels like your last couple picks are brutal, the teams themselves are not that different than last year. I think overall last year there were 194 players taken, and this year there's 196 players taken. So
what?
The free agency pool is nearly identical to what it was. The talent is just kind of spread out a little bit more. So, we'll just kind of see how it goes. And worst case, Ontario will vote to go back to 12, and Robin and Brian get the boot. So we will just see. But if that's all we got, I didn't write down any segment start times again because I'm a fucking failure, but I'm going to write down this one for the outro. We have one more podcast before the NFL season starts, and the plan, as we drew it up, is next week is just going to be like the fantasy year preview. We certainly talked about kind of what we want, or a lot of fantasy players, while we're grading the draft, but we'll kind of do it a little differently. I'm thinking maybe we do like 5 studs and 5 duds for the season, and just kind of generally fantasy players we're looking forward to and whatnot. So we'll work it out. Josh and I just kind of wing it generally.
Yeah, and before that show, don't read anything about Matthew Berry or anything you might find on ESPN. Just don't do that.
Don't read their draft analysis. We definitely will not just regurgitate it at you in a less funnier way.
Absolutely not. We'll probably talk a little bit about side bets as well as different things like that too.
Oh yeah, we can talk about side bets, and we can get it in our first. So I guess I'll have to send out a max text for we're hoping to do a large locks and upsets board this year and get a leaderboard going. So I'll have to send out a text to who's interested in that. I know Walters, you already said you're in on that. So I don't know if people want to be in if we don't put money on it. Maybe if we say like $5-10 buy-in and then the winner take all at the end of the season, but we'll see. Who knows? Yeah. So that's going to be next week. The last thing before I play the song is just thanks to our listeners. We got Nikita, loyal listener since day one. Definitely not because she's married to Josh. We got Ryan Walters, love you. We got I put Ryan twice, so we have Ryan Walters and Ryan Walters. We have Eriks Kesteris from Latvia.
It's equestrian.
Hopefully you're closing the bar down right now. I know we haven't talked about BSB much, but yeah, Eric Landvik, I love you. And Jamie, you listened sometimes last year, so appreciate you. Maybe we got some other league listeners from the redraft just because they wanted to see what we had to say about them. Their ego was that fragile that they wanted our input, or maybe they were just genuinely interested in what we had to say.
And for those of you that are listening, ignore what we said earlier. Your team sucks.
Everyone's team sucks, but mine.
Podcast today.
The top 2 podcasts today.
Yeah.
Did you record another podcast today? What were your voice memos? You could have played your voice memo, or was that all the voice memo said was insult the show at the end? Sick, bro. Oh, Josh, you slay me. Thanks for still listening, Walters. I love you. Gotta write down the goddamn segment start times now.